This is the part you've all been waiting for. The part where I reveal the same techniques I used to get from academic probation to Dean's List in the same school year. Here's what I didn't do. I did not increase the time I spent studying. I did not sacrifice the work-life balance most students would kill for. And I did not cheat or violate the honor code in any way. Okay, enough about that. Let's get into what we should do. Number 1, research your professors. If you're on a sports team, ask a junior or senior for advice on which classes and professors to take. They tend to know the path of least resistance when it comes to getting through the requirements, as it proves quite essential when juggling their commitment to the sport with the NCAA's academic standards. If you're not an athlete, but you are in a fraternity or sorority, ask one of your Greek brothers or sisters. Just like with the sports teams, the higher academic standards which fraternity and sorority members are expected to meet are self-evident of the entire group's ability to navigate swiftly through this uphill battle. And if you're not an athlete or fraternity member, ask your friends. If you know someone well who's an athlete, start with them. Then you can try a fraternity or sorority member, again, someone you know well. Then look for someone who has more experience in that particular college. You can also try ratemyprofessors.com. I know I mentioned this one during the pre-application phase, but this is an invaluable resource both before and during college. Read the syllabus. Okay, I know everybody says that, but a syllabus can cram more practical information into 5 pages or less than any scholarly article ever would. Does the class use a 10-point grading scale or an 8-point scale? Does the professor use pluses and minuses when converting your numerical score to a letter? What kind of work will impact your grade the most? And as mentioned before, which textbooks, if any, are you liable to actually need? Go ahead and organize this information on the first page of your notes so you can easily view it at a glance. Speaking of notes, be sure to take tons of them during lectures. If your professor takes attendance, you're obligated to be there anyway, so why not make the most of your time? Personally, I recommend Microsoft OneNote. You can search through your notes to easily find important information later and sync your notes with your phone through OneDrive, which some colleges provide for free. And again, these notes are portable, meaning one less thing you'll have to carry in your backpack. In fact, if you sync them with your phone, you can look through them at any time, no matter where life may take you. Personally, I organize my notes like so: 1 notebook per semester, 1 section per class, 1 page per lecture or assignment. I also had a section for notes that didn't relate to any particular course or extracurricular activity, and pages in each section for general class info, that's the information from the syllabus I mentioned earlier, as well as for the syllabus itself. I even made these shorter pages for quizzes and tests, which we'll be covering in the next video. Lastly, be sure to meet with your professors at least once, even if it's not required. This is especially advantageous in smaller universities where the instructors tend to actually get to know their students, and when the instructor is passionate about the subject they teach. During the lectures, think of 2 to 3 relevant questions to ask and save them for your initial meeting with the professor. This lets them know that you are paying attention and genuinely trying to learn, and they may take that into consideration when grading your work. Contrary to popular belief, professors don't just like to talk, they like to be heard. Few students take time out of their day to meet with a professor voluntarily unless they're at risk of failing the class. This initial meeting will help you stand out from the rest of the class in a positive way, which could come in handy later on. Even though grades are purported to reflect a student's abilities in a particular subject, that's only one small piece of the puzzle. Despite what the universities themselves would have you believe, rote memorization does tend to play a large role in providing answers to quiz and test questions. The instructor's method of teaching plays a large role in retaining the correct information, and the instructor's method of determining the final grade can make the difference between an indicator of intelligence and just a pseudo-random number. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one for more grade-changing techniques.